Now, but they say humans aren't perfect. In fact, I think they are incredibly flawed. And this airplane is also very human because it's incredibly flawed. The MD-11. Oh, and how much I love to fly the MD-11. Not only is it very quirky and has some very interesting things that we're going to talk about today that no other airliner has, but also the MD-11, like, it sucks so much in a very wholesome way. It sucks to fly. The aerodynamics of this plane is completely messed up, like inherently, to the point where pilots are kind of glad that it's gone now, the MD-11. We are now flying it in the Microsoft Flight Simulator for the first time, because TFDI Simulations just came out with their Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 upgrade, which for all previous customers is $5. They also came up with the Extended Simulation upgrade, which is actually quite insane of a flight simulation of this very interesting McDonnell Douglas aeroplane, featuring failures. Yes, we can fail many things of this already weird and badly flying airplane, so it's going to be quite a ride. But we're probably going to die today. Like, genuinely, it's impossible to land this airplane smoothly. We might be able to make it today. Probably not, though. Anyway, this plane is extremely renowned. Right now, we're loading all the passengers in, and we can take a look at the newly built cockpit for this extended edition, which is actually blowing up my PC, apparently. You know, I'm kind of bored by Airbus's perfection, how everything just works very, very well. Now, this plane is quirky. The APU switches is in a very different position to what we know, like, with other airliners. We can go into the cabin of this plane, which looks very different. We've got a very strange looking lady, and what an interesting door this is to start off. See, well, normally plane doors open up to the side. The MD-11 doors, when we close them, we can see that here through this iPad, have an ever so interesting mechanism where the door is stored within the fuselage, and it kind of slides down quite magically. Hold on, I want to see that happen again. Hold on, let's go and move that door to the open position. Look at how it opens. Yes, just we beheaded a passenger. The good thing is, normally when you fly around an airliner, the flight sim, the cabin looks like this. It's empty because there's no one sitting there, which is a bit weird. Why would you not have any passengers? Well, most of the time they look creepy anyway, but when we load up passengers here using the screen for the first time, this is new. Look, we now have actual passengers on board our plane. Now, I will say that they're triplets right here. I mean, it makes our plane a little bit more lively, but I think they're all dead as well, though. Look at him. These are dead eyes, what we see right here. Why are they all sitting in a row? And they're all the same. Great. Anyway, more new features are, for example, also that some of those circuit breakers work, which is very interesting, I think. Not all of them work, I guess they're working on it, but this is peak realism and something that this airplane really does deserve as well. Like, what if we, for example, turn off the master warning lights right here by pulling the breaker? Of course, look at this. They don't work anymore. We gotta resort to things from the Swiss Air One shop. Exactly. The Boeing warnings that we have right here are much nicer than the stupid McDonnell Douglas warnings. We'll see that later.
Engine 2, fire.
Anyway, this airplane is really quirky to turn on. The APU's already started up. Everything is ready, and this plane works quite automatically. As you can see, the APU bleed is on. All we need to do now is turn on the engine. So we switch the fuel switches. No, that's the wrong way. No, we need to turn on the engine by turning on the starter, pulling on the switch. This light right now turns on. And this plane automatic. Why does it pull the spoilers? I didn't want that. No, stop. Anyway, as you can see, the engine is turning on as we speak. Looking good. Let's turn on the fuel right here. Yes, after all, this is a semi-modern glass cockpit. Very nice. And as you can see, that right engine is turning on. Great. Let's turn on engine number 2 as well. As you can see, that lights up.
Stabilizer.
Oh, that was horrible. Okay, let's turn on engine number 1 as well. I think we might be able to pull that off. And actually, something hasn't worked. This plane is quite realistic. We've turned on too many engines at the same time, so the start air pressure from the APU is not enough. Oh no, so we got to do this all over again. Great. All right, let's turn on the engine starters right now, and we need to try again because that clearly hasn't worked. See, now with this add-on, you have to be kind of careful on what you do. Otherwise, this plane might not start up. Come on, turn on. Fuel on. Now, meanwhile, we can take a look at this FMC. Kind of the same as modern FMCs, only this is the stupid CRT screens that's 100 years old. System's kind of the same, though. It hasn't really changed. It's all Honeywell. All right, anyway, things are looking good. As you can see, the engine now finally is on, and the engine start light has turned off, so we can turn on the next engine. I have to do it step by step. Display electric unit 1 breaker. Oh, that just killed her. And oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. I guess we got to find it again, and then it turns on again. Perfect. Okay, we've got enough. Let's go ahead and turn on the fuel, and let's maybe not kill the engines again. Okay, perfect. Engine number 2 started up. Let's turn on engine number 1. Yep, it does take its time. And we can change many things right here. There's also tape displays. I really want to see what that looks like. Oh yeah, this is a different type of display. Nice. This is a bit different. Now, back when they trained the pilots on the MD-11, they were taught mainly one thing. This plane really does suck to fly, especially to land and take off, because it just handles so poorly. McDonnell Douglas designed this airplane to be quite fuel efficient, and so they made the wing a weird shape. We've got an extremely high wing sweep, right? The angle of the wing is pretty interesting. The airfoil is shitty. We've got a very small area of wing as well, and it's very far in the back. So this wing has very, very unstabilized lift performance. Now, McDonnell Douglas was aware of that, and so they had to design sort of a fly-by-wire software for the pitch inputs of this plane, because the pitch was so hard to get right on this plane, especially on landing and takeoff, that I kind of had to mask it with a software that didn't really work right anyway. This plane was a mess. Anyway, they knew of that, and something they added as well was these flaps right here, which are so quirky. So when you set the A-flap system, you can select the flaps to the microscopic angles, and this text hides it. We can literally set the flaps to 16 and 3/4 degrees if we wanted to. Let's do that. Should be round about that. So literally to the microscopic flaps setting. If they did like an Airbus approach where they have literally 4 flap settings, this plane would have been genuinely unable to fly. So for example, we just now did some calculations for this runway. After all, we're at the pretty short runway of Gibraltar, and our iPad has calculated that we need the exact flaps of 24 degrees. Something you would never see in any other airplane. So let's set 24. Which is, by the way, extremely high amount of flaps. That's insane. So let's go ahead and use them. Let's go ahead and fly this plane. I want to see if we can reverse thrust out of here. Come on. So reverse thrust is actually activated on all of the 3 engines, even up here, which is odd because it doesn't work. We actually roll forward. Why? Why do we roll forward? The reverse thrust is set on all the 3 engines, and despite that, the plane won't move. All right, let's move over. Let's actually fly this plane now onto the runway. Good. Got a spinning nose wheel right there. And by the way, what I completely forgot to mention is, of course, the fact that we have a little bit of Flight Sim 24 utilities. For example, we can open the door like this by clicking it. Let's go ahead and close it again. Good. But that's not really realistic. I think you would actually use this pull right here, kind of like on a Tesla, to activate the door. You wouldn't click on the door in real life. Nor can you do, I think, many more Microsoft Flight Sim-y things, like, for example, put the chocks here. Something we can see is that the APU door is still open, and actually this door. Hey, but something that I guess is kind of cool is that, what does this even do? Oh, this is for the cargo door. Interesting. Let's close that again. All right, our engines are still working, so let's go ahead and actually just fly now. Oh, what's the problem? It complains about the stabilizer. I guess the trim not being in proper position. You kind of want that, especially on a plane like this. All right, what's the position? I guess this is a good position, like 1%, something like that. All right, now we've got this, still this alert. All right. Anyway, something the plane automatically does when we want to take off and put enough power is, and you can see that right here, is it turns off all the blades automatically at a certain engine power. So no air from these engines comes into the cabin to save engine performance. We'll need a lot of performance, especially for this takeoff, especially at flaps 24. Let's go take off now, full power. I don't know how to set up the stabilizer. I might need to read a manual. Shut up. Let's go full power. Now, this runway is relatively short, so our decision speed, V1, is actually our rotation speed. So we fly or we die is kind of the... Why are they cars? Anyway, let's go ahead and take off. So, rotate. Wonderful. And this plane already feels sluggish even just to lift off, ladies and gentlemen. But we've done that. Look at the stubble wings and the big winglets, how this plane kind of struggles to, you know, climb because of our high flaps. Let's put the landing gear up. As you can see, that works nicely. Let's go ahead and put down the flaps right now, and it does that. The blades are still off because we still have maximum engine performance necessary. All is well, but what I really want to take a look at now when we're flying is this so-called extended simulation app that we can buy for $5 extra. And you can see that we have different things, areas of the airplane that shows in wireframe that we can set up. For example, in the fuselage, we can do failures like, what the hell's TR1? I don't know. We can trigger it, and as you can see, it only has 2 exclamation mark. It's, you know, it's a big failure. It's like semi-big. I don't know what happens when we turn them on, you know. Can we find like a 3 exclamation mark failure? Oh, uncontained hydraulic system 2 leak. Why not? What happens here with the middle engine? Ah, engine number 2, we can have it be on fire. Why not? Let's go ahead and trigger that. And as you can see, we see no fire. Oh my god, I've got literally no hydraulics. I've got no control. Oh, I'm actually struggling. This plane has no control. I have no control. I have genuinely no control. Okay, this is now a bit of a problem. Holy moly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have lost complete control over the entire airplane. The engine number 2 is on fire. Sadly, that is an animated. Let's go ahead and, all right, there we go. We can get this cover up and, you know, pull the fire handle just like in real life. Come on, please. What do I do? What am I supposed to do? What's the procedure? We're supposed to pull it. I don't know. We've got many things on fire. And we're supposed to unlock it somehow. I don't know how. Okay, we're cooked. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, but we've got a bigger problem. We got no control of this plane whatsoever. I think the landing gear won't even come down, right? No, that is completely gone. So, big problem, ladies and gentlemen. That is definitely a lot of exclamation marks. The only way to fly this airplane now, I guess, is by using differential thrust in some way. So, putting in less power into the left engine. And it's the only way we can literally turn. This plane has no more control at all. So, yeah, it's probably as controllable as the plane is normally. I wonder if we can save this. So, yeah, all is looking fine. We're flying extremely quickly, and this will probably be deadly. I think we'd better off just ditching the plane in the ocean as slowly as possible. I'm trying to hit the runway. The airport, after all, is right behind us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a bit of a problem. Where's like the evacuation? Oh, we can turn on the masks for the passengers, right? Manual deploy? No, they don't work. I guess we can dump some fuel. Does that show any animation? No, it doesn't. By the way, I'm gonna try to get this airplane to turn properly. We've got a bit of a steep turn right now, and I have no idea how this is gonna go. Are we gonna make it back to the runway? Probably not. We can turn on the evacuation horn, maybe. Yes! It's just slightly annoying. Maybe we should turn it off. Jesus, this voice is really not the voice you'd want to hear. Can you imagine this is the last female voice some pilots heard that they died? Anyway, look at this. The runway is in front of us, and I'm gonna try to like make it. It's crazy how we've got no control whatsoever. Nothing does anything at all. We've got no rudder. The only thing we literally have is engines. We probably don't even have flaps, do we? So we need a bit of a tighter turn right now. Only these 2 engines are running as well. We've got engine failure too. And you've got the annoying voice. All right. It's weird that I can't pull the engine fire switch. All right, we're coming in at astronomically high speeds. We're probably not going to be able to reduce the easer. Let's go ahead and try to level out this airplane a little bit by putting a little bit more power into the left engine. Let's see if I can put the spoilers out. Probably not. That's probably impossible. No. Flaps don't work either. Literally none of our flight controls work at all. Okay, the runway's in front of us. We literally only have differential thrust. I think it would be a miracle if we at all were able to hit the runway, you know? That's just kind of the main thing. I just want to like end up on the runway somehow. Literally alive or dead. Okay. Nope, we're too fast. So we're gonna have to go for another round, or we can just reset ourselves. But we're looking actually pretty good. Okay, we're gonna overfly the runway, aren't we? No, there is no way I can get this airplane somehow controlled onto a runway. We're just doing a bit of a flyby. I mean, at least we're able to somehow steer this airplane still. But the only thing we can literally do is wait for somehow of a soft landing. Oh, no, it's not gonna be soft at all. Nope, we would have broken up into pieces and died. Great. This seems like a normal MD-11 flight, no problem at all. We can now actually unfail all these failures. I kind of want to do that. That's a lot of failure. Even the tires have failed. Interesting. But all right, let's come in for a normal landing. We're gonna put the flaps out to 50 degrees, which is the highest among airliners, which is also why this plane is probably so tail strike prone as well. All right, let's go ahead and come in for a landing. I'm gonna set the auto brake is already set to max. God, I hate the call-outs. Now, this airplane requires loads of speed, but that is fine. Look, we're flying at flaps 44 degrees. Wait, they don't even come down. That's 50. It should be 50. Oh, they're coming down all the way now. But despite that, it doesn't really sit super comfortably even at 150 knots, which is insane. Now, pilots who fly this plane, oh my God, we're dying at 140 knots. Pilots of this plane are trained to land this airplane hard because otherwise this plane just won't want to touch down. It wants to fly. It's a plane that's kind of almost romantic. Let's go ahead and land it now. Yeah, I know. We're at 160 knots, which is insane, but that's fine.
500.
Shut up. Don't die. What the hell is wrong with all these failures still? Jesus Christ. Either way, at 150, 60, 70,000 knots, we're landing. This is like almost a Concorde now. But this is good. Let's go ahead and land. And try to butter. Maybe we can try to butter it. Let's try to butter it.
30. 20,
it's impossible.
10.
What? That's a normal MD-11 landing. I can't do it. Right away, the auto brake is set to max. For some reason, only one reverser is coming out. I think something with the airplane might be broken still. Come, auto brake. Oh my God, brake the airplane. Please brake airplane. Please stop the plane now. We've got tire failures. We've got literally all the failures we can have, and we're not stopping. We're overrunning the airplane. I try to generally make it a good landing. Also, why is not all of the elevators coming? This plane is completely fucked. Good stuff. So everybody, the new TFDI MD-11, definitely a great airplane. It's not the most expensive, but it's also not the best, of course. I wish we'd have more visualizations of the failures. It literally doesn't seem to have any. Also, I can't open the doors from inside here, which is weird. I hope you enjoyed the quirks of the MD-11, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, good night. The special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters, Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijutsu Finder, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.